Hi, welcome to Trade Up, where we discuss the latest media trends making waves in our industry. I'm Saumya.
And I'm Allison.
Advertisers spent an estimated $35 million on podcasts in 2016, and the numbers are only going up. According to the IAB Podcast Upfront, 74% of listeners take action as a result of a brand's ad in a podcast. Allison, why do you think podcast ads are so effective?
I definitely think it's because there's a more intimate culture around listening to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
The audiences are usually a lot smaller than TV or any other live experience, or even if it's not live. And the people in the podcast are, like, they have a kind of transparency about the sponsorships. A lot of the podcasts that I've watched, they're like, this podcast is sponsored by this brand. They give us money so we can do this and make this free for you. We like them.
Right.
You should check them out. And people want to support the people who support the people that they want to watch.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So what do you think, you mentioned transparency and stuff like that, what do you think we can take from podcast ads and bring to something larger like television? Is there anything we can take?
I think it's a little difficult with more scripted,
Scripted television.
Yeah. More scripted content.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. Because that kind of transparency is lost. There's more of a removal of the audience and the people in the content.
Right.
Whereas in podcasts, the people who are making the podcast are just like genuine and saying like, we like this brand, you should support them too, versus in TV, it's very much separated. It's just like, well, they want you to buy this. It doesn't really have anything to do with the content.
That actually makes sense.
If they found a way to relate the ads with the actual content, I think that would be beneficial in that case.
And that's the added layer that you're dealing with actors rather than the fact that it's a host, someone you've sort of known intimately for a while, as a real person who's acting in their real life, right? And I wanted to ask you, do you think, because right now about a quarter of Americans listen to podcasts, do you think that it's something that the target of podcasts is something that binds all podcast listeners together, or are there like individual targets for each series and each episode?
I think it's definitely some of both. People who listen to podcasts are usually very curious people. Like, they're the kind of people who watch documentaries. They spend a lot of their free time learning about new things. They'll watch like
Curious
webinars,
people.
right?
Yeah.
But then of course every podcast audience is different based on the topic. So I think it's definitely some of each.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Allison, for sharing your thoughts on why podcast ads are so effective. Hopefully we can bring some of that to television, but let us know what you think. Tweet us at TradeUpOTN.